Hello and welcome to another segment of Western Wisconsin Journal. I'm Jamie Johnson, the legal and government correspondent. And with me today are members of the community engagement process steward team. We call it the PST for short. I've got Jill Burchell and Tom Van Pelt. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Jamie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And they serve with me on the PST. And Tom, why don't you tell them what we've been up to at the process steward team, and how long we've been at it, I guess.
Well, it seems like we've been at it quite a while, Jamie. We've got a team of 8 members, 4 community members, including Jill and myself, along with Joel Skinner and Paul Bourget. And then we've got 4 what we consider to be kind of insiders, including 2 school board members, yourself and Bruce Hanson, and then Dave Grambo and Tracy Habishali. Thank you. Thank you for helping me with that.
Tracy's the communication director, and Dave is the assistant superintendent. And so, that was since January that we got started. How many meetings have we had?
Rumor has it that we've had 18 meetings of some type between internal team meetings and then public forums and various public meetings. So.
Well, I don't say this enough. I really appreciate the work that you and Jill have put into this, and I really appreciate all your time. Great insight. I can say that those are very productive meetings. It doesn't feel like we get very far ahead sometimes, but what we're basically doing is trying to design this community engagement process, and we're roughly halfway through, whether that's halfway through chronologically or just the number of stages. But we've had stage 1 and 2, and Jill, why don't you tell the folks what we've done in stage 1 and 2?
Sure. It's a building process. Stage 1 involved just identifying some real baseline data. I think it's important is if we're getting community input that they have some basic data on populations, school building sizes, et cetera, et cetera. So there was a lot of data in stage 1 and understanding of the future expectations for learning. So that was stage 1, and that was all done via online surveys and online information. We did have toolkits out at various sites throughout the community, and so people could get information hard copy.
And that kind of went through, the beginning of March, I think.
Right.
Roughly.
And then we moved to stage 2, which is really where the community could identify what they believe are the needs and gaps. And we did that through a variety of small group meetings, held in a matter over a 2 to 2.5 week period, all times of the day, over the weekends. We even had some at school buildings so that people could take the opportunity to go tour the middle school or tour the high school. And the purpose was really for the community to give us their input on their needs and the gaps.
I was pretty impressed with the level of commitment. I mean, to have people come to these forums and stay for 2 hours to discuss these issues. I don't know, we had roughly 100 participants that stayed for that. And you mentioned the 2 to 2.5 week period was all done in April, I think right after the spring election through towards the end of April. And once we were done with those, there was another phase to it.
Right, and then we moved to phase 3, but
stage 2's online.
Then we did an online survey on stage 2. Yeah, sorry, there's a lot of stages, a lot of meetings, so kind of lose track. And by the way, as long as you mentioned it, all of the information input from people in both stage 1 and stage 2, and in the future, is all online. Everyone's input. So it's really been a great transparent process as far as that is concerned.
Well, that's really we had the 3 goals: trust and transparency, trying to build consensus, and involving a wide variety of stakeholders. And that trust and transparency being kind of the number 1 goal throughout is that we've kind of heard is what's the point of community engagement, because they're not going to listen to what I have to say anyway. And or if they do, they're just going to do a summary of it, and then we're not going to actually see the comments. But in this case, we've got them posted, and everything it's all in alphabetical order.
Right. And so now we're moving on to the 3rd stage.
Okay.
I don't know, Tom, if you want to share that, or I can.
Right, yeah, that's fine. Well, I think we'll all kind of contribute, because stage 3 is the stage where everyone's been kind of waiting with bated breath, I guess.
Yeah.
So how are we attacking stage 3? And first of all, what are we doing with stage 3? What's the goal?
Well, in stage 3, there's really a kind of a two-pronged effort. One, a public forum that's coming up on June 23rd at 6:30 at the Hudson High School. And that's going to be an opportunity where there's going to be 2 presentations made, one by Dr. Tom Gillespie, a demographer from the state of, former state of Minnesota, a demographer who has done some projections looking into the future as far as student enrollment populations. And Dr. Gillespie is going to present some of those findings in a forum that will run about 25 minutes for his presentation, and then allow community members to follow up and ask questions and try to better understand his information. Preliminary results by Dr. Gillespie are already online at the school district's website, but those numbers are hopefully going to be refined into more grade level sorts of projections.
So right now it's kind of population based on 5-year age groups.
Right. The long-term projection is.
Yeah.
So
And that's by long-term, we're talking about out to 2040. I know that he had done some projections out to 2050 when he was employed in the capacity for the St. Croix River crossing. And actually, you were the one that brought that to the attention of the committee, and we were able to, engage his services to get specific to the entire Hudson School District. So we appreciate his efforts, and like you said, it's already on the website to see those population projections. And then that's the first part of the forum. What's the second part?
The second part of the forum will be a presentation by Bray Architects who were brought in to do an assessment of the current buildings, particularly the high school and the middle school, to look at the current situation as the buildings exist today, as a starting point then to take the stage 1 and stage 2 needs that have been identified and try to start to have a discussion around what are the options that are available to match needs and gaps with the current capacity of those buildings. And so a representative from Bray Architects will be there, same format, have an opportunity to present a summary of their report, which again is also online for
In fact, I
district.
have a copy right here. We have the report that Bray gave to the school districts dated June 9th, so we're filming this now on June 11th, and this can also be accessed online. So I haven't accessed it yet online, but
I did. Tracy sent us.
And how did it
today.
come across? Because the early versions, we had a technical glitch in some of
It
the...
looked good. I mean, there's a lot of data in there. So it's sometimes it's helpful to look at it in hard copy.
Right.
When there's that much data, especially the pictures. But
Yeah,
honestly,
they have
Jamie, it
maps and diagrams of the buildings, everything from number of rooms and square foot per student. So like you said, a lot of
it
technical
was-
data.
It's good. So the beauty of what stage 3 is it's fresh, new, updated information. And I think that's always good rather than going back to something that might be 2 to 3 years old. So I think that's great that that's why if people haven't participated thus far, going to this community forum would be great. Okay. That's the opportunity to participate. And
The
if
date on that again is?
It's June 23rd at 6:30 at the high school auditorium. And if you can't go, because I know one date and time is often busy for people, we're videotaping it, and so it will be on the website.
Great.
So please, after that date, click on that video and watch it. It might be a little long, but I think it's important for you to hear the information.
Well, this is an opportunity for folks to read the reports even before they go to the forum, and they can, if they have questions, and after reading these reports, well, what about this, what about that, that's their opportunity to ask
Perfect.
those.
Yes.
And so we'll have this forum. What's the other part to stage 3 then?
Well, the second part that we're looking for feedback from the community is to have them actually offer some opinions right now in light of this information, the Dr. Gillespie reports as well, to provide input, opinions, whatever they may have in regards to how they would address the long-term facility needs for the secondary space requirements in the district. And so, again, there's an online question posted on the district's website. You can go in and offer whatever amount of feedback you'd like to do. We'd love all the feedback we can get on that question. If you're shy about using the internet, there's going to be paper versions of that you can pick up. and leave at the Hudson Public Library, the municipal offices scattered around the district, as well as the district or the district administrative center as well. So there's plenty of opportunities for the public to either online or in a hard physical copy, and try to offer up some suggestions to that question, how to address those secondary school
And
needs.
it's an open-ended question too. It's not multiple choice or one of the criticisms that the board got the last time there was a community engagement process was, why are we only being presented with 3 options? And we talked about this a lot, didn't we, at our meetings, that we don't want to influence that at all. And that's this total transparency, is getting all the ideas out there. Now, eventually, we'll need to organize and summarize those into kind of categories, and that's part of the job of the architect to do that. But first, we want to get those ideas out from the community. This is not being fed from some other source, so everyone is eligible to get their ideas out.
We've been really interested in getting as much participation as possible, and I've been a little bit disappointed that the numbers have been down. But throughout this whole process, people have been saying, when am I going to be able to tell you what I think you should do?
Right.
This is the chance.
Yeah.
So everyone should have an opinion on this, and great new data that they can.
Exactly. I think, Tom, you were the one that pointed out, those first 2 stages weren't very sexy. They were, could be boring and maybe intimidating for folks who are not, don't have doctorates in education or any kind of education background, to say, what the next century's worth of learning should look like. But everyone seems to have an opinion. I know, having been a school board member for the last couple of years, I've had lots of people say, well, why don't you just do this? Why don't you go and build here? Or why don't you just add on to there? Why don't you just go up with the building, add another floor? So all of those are ideas, and we're not denigrating any of them. They're going to be analyzed and summarized and all that later. But how long do we want to keep this open now?
We're going to keep it open till the end of July. I think it's July 23rd or July 24th, something like that.
So about a month after the forum. So
After the forum. And we will be periodically posting everybody's input on the website. And I think it's really important that we do that periodically, and people can have gained confidence through the first 2 stages in going to the website and verifying that their answers were on there. So I think that's been very helpful.
But we also encourage folks to utilize the information that'll be available. When they answer the question, I'm sure there's some that go in with some definite ideas of what they think is best. But like you said, this is new information. For instance, this Bray report, very worthwhile to read it. And there again, folks can read it and decide for themselves what they think is the most important. Bray does some pretty objective comparison of, okay, this is the number of rooms, or this is the number of square feet you have per student, and here's what the regional average is, and so forth. So if folks are thinking that athletics or the extracurricular or the auditorium is something that's a big priority, I mean, they can still address that, but they've got the option to review as much information, not just the architect's report, the demographer's report, but also what was identified in stage 1 and 2.
Yeah, the needs and gaps. And so it's really those 3 legs of the stool that I think will be helpful to people, to provide them with information so that they can think about it and they can make recommendations.
Sure. Now, what's that? Do we have the website address?
I don't have it in front of me, but all you need to do is Google Hudson School District, and you'll see it's right on the front page, and all of the different pieces of information are right there. It's not, you don't have to go to any sub-pages. It'll just click right on there. And like we said at the forum, we'll have hard copies of the stage 2 data, and maybe of the others, I'm not sure, so that if you're not interested in looking on the computer, that you can get a hard copy.
Okay. Anything else that we missed, Tom?
Oh, just a reminder, Jill mentioned the fact that the Stage 1 and Stage 2 information is on the website, but there will be some hard copies available for the Stage 2 data at the forum itself. And you also have the opportunity to actually throw your opinions into the box that night as well in regards to how to address the secondary facility needs.
I have one more piece of information.
Sure.
Everybody should look for their mailbox because sometime in the
right.
next week, we'll all be getting a postcard that reminds us of this meeting. So it'll kind of summarize exactly what we've talked about here
That's
today.
expected to hit the mailboxes June 15th or 16th.
Right.
So if they're viewing this segment before those dates, just watch your mailbox. If you're viewing it after, don't throw your old mail out. Make sure that you look through it and find that, because it's a great save the date type of reminder. High school, June 23rd, 6:30 p.m. Anticipated to be 2 hours thereabouts. It's really open-ended after we have the experts give their reports, and then it'll be up to how many questions and answers there are. And if they can't do that night, then they'll have the opportunity to view it online and still give their opinions through July 24th. And maybe we'll be doing another one of these video segments a couple months down the road and talking about what the next remaining stages are of our process.
So everyone should go to their neighbor and make sure that their neighbor participates in this.
That'd be great. That's a great idea. If we
I
can just
think-
get every person to get 2 other people involved,
That'd be perfect.
We would get the word out. And knowing that this doesn't take a half hour of their time to do. I mean, they can take that much time if they want to read everything that's on there first. But again, it's not a 17-page deal. We might ask a few demography type of questions because we are curious what groups are replying to this and putting their input, because we want to make sure we're trying our darndest as a PST to appeal to all groups and not just targeting one single group of stakeholders.
A cross section
Yes.
of the community. Then we can be sure that we have more likely community consensus.
Right. Yeah, we're trying to move in that direction anyway, and with the community's help, we'll get there. So I want to thank my guests again, Jill Burchell, Tom Van Pelt. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for your work on the Process Steward team. I want to thank the audience for watching and encourage you to go ahead, Google the school district, and go online and just see what this community engagement process is all about. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you again on Western Wisconsin Journal.